Welcome back to the channel where hidden treasures come to life, where everyday pocket change could transform your life, and where we uncover the fascinating stories behind the coins you might be overlooking. Today we're diving into one of the most astounding and captivating tales in American numismatic history, a story that takes us into the heart of minting anomalies, collectible frenzy, and jaw-dropping auction surprises, all centered around the seemingly ordinary yet historically charged 1975 1-cent coin from the United States, a penny that has taken the coin collecting world by storm and whose rare variants and minting peculiarities have pushed its value to an astonishing $827 in recent years, and in some unique conditions, even more, driving collectors and enthusiasts into bidding wars and sparking renewed interest in this pivotal year in U.S. minting. And as we peel back the layers of history, metallurgy, die usage, and production methods, we start to understand why such an unassuming coin has become the holy grail for some and a source of continuous excitement in the numismatic community. So strap in as we explore how the 1975 penny, usually made from a copper alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc, became the focal point of era collectors due to numerous flaws and production mishaps that arose during its minting cycle, starting with the infamous off-center strikes that caused part of Lincoln's profile or the date to be missing or partially clipped, making these types immediately more valuable to era coin aficionados, especially when the strike is dramatic yet preserves the full date and mint mark, followed closely by double die obverse, where the design elements, particularly the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and the date itself, appear blurred, shifted, or as if duplicated, due to misalignment between multiple strikes on the same planchet, and such double dies are highly sought after, especially when the doubling is pronounced and easy to detect without magnification. Then there are the rarer, more elusive transitional errors where some 1975 pennies have been found struck on the planchets intended for coins of different denominations or even from foreign coins being produced at the U.S. Mint at the time, such as struck on a dime planchet, which makes the coin smaller and missing design elements from the rim, immediately making it stand out and gain substantial attention at auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, with examples reaching hundreds of dollars even in circulated condition, while uncirculated and well-struck errors have topped values exceeding $827, partly driven by the uniqueness and partly by the limited population verified by grading services like PCGS and NGC, who have authenticated several examples showing not only striking errors but also die cracks, cuds, and retained interior die breaks that add visual appeal and rarity to an already intriguing piece of American coinage. And let's not forget about the no-mint mark variations from Philadelphia, which are normal but occasionally found with filled dies, causing parts of the design or even the mint mark space to be absent or mushy-looking, sometimes confused with the ultra-rare 1975 S-proof errors, though no officially released 1975 S Lincoln cents exist for circulation, which only deepens the mystery when collectors report 1,975 coins with characteristics unusual for regular strikes, and that brings us into the rumors, myths, and speculation among collectors who believe that a small number of 1975 S cents might have been accidentally released or escaped from test batches, sparking debates and investigations across forums, collector groups, and private numismatic circles, with many hobbyists dedicating years of their life trying to confirm the existence of such unicorns, while simultaneously boosting the desirability and price of any high-grade, strange-looking 1975 cent, and speaking of high grades, coins graded MS-67 and above, particularly with red, RD, designations, have become gold mines, as the pristine condition combined with errors like off-center strikes, die clashes, or struck through grease make them incredible rarities, and even the normal 1975 penny in MS-67 red can command over $100 due to how difficult it is to find untouched original mint luster coins from that year, making this a case where even a normal coin in top condition fetches significant premiums. And now let's talk about what's perhaps the most compelling aspect: how so many people have these coins without knowing their true value, since millions were produced, and thousands of era coins likely slipped through circulation, meaning it's very possible that your pocket change, an old penny jar, or your grandma's coin bowl might be harboring one of these little-known treasures. And the thrill of discovering that a coin worth 1 cent by face value could actually net you over $800 or more is what keeps the collector spirit alive and kicking. And remember, always check for the finer details like clear doubling on the motto, any off-centeredness that cuts into the design but preserves the date, strange coloration, or planchet metal inconsistencies, and weigh your coins if they feel slightly off, since incorrect planchets can differ in weight, and in the world of coins, weight is often the first clue to a striking mistake. And now that you know all of this, you're more equipped than ever to identify a potentially valuable 1975 cent that might just be lying unnoticed among common change. So if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden fortune behind a humble penny, make sure to like this video, share it with friends who love treasure hunting, comment below if you've ever found a 1975 penny with any of these features, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you never miss another story about coins worth big money. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. Next. Today we're diving deep into a coin that seems so ordinary yet hides secrets that can astonish collectors and everyday people alike, the 1990 D Lincoln 1-cent coin. A small copper-plated zinc piece that has captured the attention of numismatists and treasure seekers across America and beyond because some rare error-filled specimens of this coin have fetched as much as $261 in the collector's market, turning what looks like a regular pocket penny into a prized possession worth far more than its face value. And as we explore the intricate world of minting mistakes, anomalies, and variations, you'll begin to understand why a coin minted in the millions could suddenly become so rare and valuable. And as always, if you're fascinated by the incredible stories behind coins that might be lying unnoticed in your house right now, then make sure you like, subscribe, and stay with us till the very end because this journey is going to open your eyes to details you never noticed before, and who knows, you might end up checking your change a little more closely after this. So let's begin by unraveling the story of the 1990 D penny, a 1-cent coin minted in Denver, represented by the D mint mark below the date, and produced by the U.S. Mint in a total mintage numbering over 4.9 billion coins, which would make you assume there's nothing rare about it. But as collectors and professional graders began to notice anomalies in certain specimens, a new wave of interest surged, particularly in those coins that showed signs of minting errors ranging from double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, weak strikes, die cracks, die chips, plating blisters, and transitional anomalies that make these tiny pieces of metal far more intriguing than most people would guess. And when we talk about a coin being worth $261 rather than just 1 cent, we're looking at combinations of these rare errors that make a certain piece distinct and in demand in auctions and private sales. And to understand this properly, let's take a deeper look at what kinds of errors have been documented in the 1990 D penny and how each contributes to its collector value, starting with the double die obverse or DDO, which is one of the most desirable errors among Lincoln cents, were due to a misalignment during the die creation process. The features on the obverse, like Lincoln's profile, the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," or the date 1990, appear to have been duplicated, slightly rotated, or distorted, resulting in a doubling that's visible to the naked eye or under magnification, and instantly makes such a coin a candidate for significant appraisal because doubling errors are one of the most recognizable and documented anomalies that often become favorites at coin shows, auctions, and grading services. Then there's the die crack and die chip variety of errors, which are the result of worn or damaged dies used in the striking process, where the immense pressure causes micro fractures in the die that then leave raised lines or blobs of metal on the struck coin. And in the case of the 1990 D penny, some coins exhibit die cracks extending from Lincoln's head to the rim or in the field areas near the motto or mint mark, while die chips can form extra bumps often seen on Lincoln's eyes, nose, or coat or near the letters, making them known as cuds, if they extend to the edge. And these die cracks and chips give the coin a distinctive appearance, and no two coins with such damage look exactly alike, giving each error piece a uniqueness that's highly attractive to error collectors. Now let's move on to another significant error, the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin blank is not perfectly centered between the obverse and reverse dies, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing or shifted off to one side. And the more dramatic the off-center strike, especially those around 50% but still showing the date and mint mark, the more valuable the coin tends to be. And some 1990 D pennies have been discovered with 10%, 20%, and even higher off-center strikes where Lincoln's portrait is pushed off towards the edge and parts of the reverse are missing or distorted, which collectors love because such coins tell the dramatic story of the mechanical failure at the mint in a way that is visible and tangible. Then we also have the broad strike error, where the retaining collar that normally keeps the coin in shape fails during striking, and the result is a coin that appears wider and flatter than usual with blurry or missing rims, which, though subtle to the untrained eye, instantly catches the attention of an experienced coin hunter. And a broad-struck 1990 D penny can command much higher prices when graded and confirmed. And then let's not forget about coins struck on the wrong planchet, which is an extremely rare and valuable mint error, where instead of being struck on the proper copper-plated zinc blank for a 1-cent coin, the design ends up being struck on a blank meant for a dime or even a foreign coin, resulting in incorrect diameter, weight, and appearance, and there are a few known cases of 1990 D pennies struck on dime planchets which come out thinner and silvery in color, lacking the copper tone, and these are so rare that finding one can result in values far exceeding even the $261 range depending on condition and confirmation by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Then we have the ever-intriguing BIE error, which refers to a small die chip forming between the letters B and E in Liberty that resembles the letter I, creating what appears to be a misspelling on the coin. And though small, these errors are collectible and often listed as minor varieties, especially common in Lincoln cents from the 1950s through the 1990s and 1990. D specimens with a strong BIE error in high grade can attract significant collector attention. And now moving on to plating blisters, which are a result of improper bonding between the copper plating and the zinc core of the coin, especially since in 1982 the U.S. Mint transitioned from 95% copper coins to copper-plated zinc compositions, which introduced a host of new production challenges. And when the plating separates or develops bubbles due to gas or contamination, you get what's known as plating blisters or bubbles, raised areas that often burst or flake over time. And on the 1990 D penny, these plating issues are not only visible but can sometimes take dramatic shapes or appear in multiple locations, thereby creating what some collectors refer to as zombie Lincoln or pimply cents, which are strange looking but highly sought after by those fascinated with unique minting failures. And when such a coin combines with other errors like misaligned dies or off-center strikes, its value climbs significantly because error stacking increases rarity and visual appeal. And speaking of misaligned dies, this error happens when one of the dies used in striking the coin is slightly rotated or out of alignment vertically, resulting in a strike where one side of the coin appears normal while the other is shifted or partial. And though subtle, this error contributes to collector interest, especially in higher grade uncirculated pieces or those with full visible features despite the misalignment. And then we must consider the transitional and anomalous pieces, where due to changes in minting procedures, machinery calibrations, or human oversight, certain coins receive atypical characteristics like missing mint marks, ghost doubling, or abnormal weight and dimensions. And though rare, a missing D on a 1990 D cent has caused speculation about the existence of 1990 no mint mark business strikes, which in Philadelphia became a known variety for the 1990 proof cents. But if a Denver coin lacks the D due to a filled die or grease-filled mint mark punch, it becomes even more intriguing because it blurs the line between proof and business strikes, planned and error production. And collectors love coins that challenge official mint records or cause debate in the numismatic community. And finally, condition plays a huge role in why a 1990 D penny might be worth $261 or more, because many of these coins circulate and suffer wear, scratches, and discoloration. But when an error coin is found in high-grade mint state condition, free from major contact marks and with strong luster, it becomes a top-tier example that commands premium prices, especially if slabbed and certified by a major grading service with error notation. And now, as we wrap up this marathon journey through the microscopic universe of the 1990 D Lincoln cent, it's clear that what appears to be a mundane everyday coin can hide a story of mechanical mishaps, human oversight, production flaws, and fascinating quirks that turn it from pocket change into a collector's prize. And whether you're new to coin collecting or a seasoned numismatist, the thrill of finding such a coin, verifying its authenticity, and discovering its backstory is what makes this hobby so endlessly rewarding. And remember, the next time you come across a 1990 D penny, don't dismiss it as just another cent. Check it for doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, chips, blistering, misalignments, and plating bubbles, because any of these might be your ticket to holding a small piece of minting history worth $261 or more. And that's the power of paying attention to the small things. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into the rich world of error coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another chance to uncover the hidden value of coins that others overlook. And join us next time. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible story of the 1997 1-cent coin from the United States, a seemingly ordinary penny that has astonished collectors and investors alike by selling for as much as $143 due to its extraordinary minting errors and production anomalies. And we're going to unpack every fascinating detail that makes this coin a standout piece of big money history. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious beginner, or just someone who found a 1997 penny in your drawer and wondered what it might be worth, this is the video you've been waiting for. Because not all pennies are created equal, and this specific year and mint mark combination has been known to hide some jaw-dropping mistakes and rare characteristics that drive its value far beyond its face. Starting with the context of the coin itself, the 1997 1-cent coin produced by the United States Mint primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, continues the familiar design featuring the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This reverse was eventually replaced in 2009, making the 1997 Lincoln Memorial cent one of the last decades of that iconic design. Now, in terms of mintage, billions of these coins were produced, specifically, over 4.6 billion at Philadelphia and more than 4 billion at Denver, which, on the surface, makes it seem like there's nothing rare or special about it. However, as seasoned collectors know, the value of a coin is not always about how many were made, but about how many survive in exceptional condition or with unusual minting errors that set them apart from the rest, and that's where the 1997 penny becomes especially intriguing, as several types of minting mistakes from this year have emerged over time, drawing the attention of numismatists and fetching impressive sums. At auction and in private sales, some of the most talked about and documented errors found on the 1997 1-cent coin include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, clipped planchets, broad strikes, struck-through errors, and rare transitional planchet errors that are incredibly difficult to spot without careful examination. And each of these types of errors can drastically affect the value of the coin depending on their visibility, rarity, and condition of the coin itself, starting with one of the most dramatic errors, the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet, the blank metal disc onto which the coin design is stamped, is not properly aligned with the dies during the striking process, resulting in a coin where the design is partially missing and shifted to one side. Off-center errors are graded by the percentage of off-centering, with examples between 10% to 90% being known, and the sweet spot for collectors is often in the 40 to 60% off-center range where enough of the design is visible for identification but the error is still dramatically evident. These off-center 1997 cents can sell for anywhere between $25 to over $100 depending on eye appeal and percentage. Then we come to double die errors, which are among the most popular and sought-after types of minting mistakes, particularly among Lincoln cent collectors. A double die error occurs during the hubbing process when the design is transferred to the die multiple times slightly misaligned, leading to a doubling effect on the coin's devices. On 1997 cents, doubling has been observed on the obverse lettering, especially in areas like Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date itself, and sometimes on Lincoln's eye or bow tie. Though less common than earlier years, these double die examples are particularly exciting when they are visible without magnification and in high grades. And high-grade double die 1997 cents can fetch over $100 easily, especially if slabbed and authenticated by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now, another category of interest is die cracks and cuds, which happen when a die used in the striking process begins to break down due to metal fatigue. Die cracks show up as raised lines on the coin, usually along the rim or extending through the design, and can be subtle or dramatic, while a cud is when a piece of the die breaks off entirely, leaving a blob-like raised area on the coin. These kinds of mint deterioration errors are increasingly popular with error collectors who appreciate the uniqueness they bring, and 1997 pennies with dramatic die cracks or well-formed cuds can bring premiums up to $75 or more depending on size and location. Planchet errors also play a huge role in value, with examples such as clip planchets, where a portion of the coin appears cut off in a crescent shape due to misfeeding during blank production. Being especially noticeable and collectible, clipped planchet 1997 cents that are clean and obvious can be worth $50 to $100, while broad strikes are another exciting error type where the coin is struck without the collar that usually contains its shape, causing the coin to spread outward and lose its standard dimensions. A well-centered broad-struck 1997 penny can appear larger than normal and command similar premiums, especially in uncirculated condition. Another rare and intriguing possibility with any modern coin, including the 1997 cent, is a transitional planchet error. These are extremely rare but possible due to planchets left over from previous years or incorrect metal stock being fed into the coining presses. While no major cases of 1997 cents being struck on transitional blanks are confirmed widely, collectors are always on the lookout for strange metallic colors or weights that suggest something unusual, and the possibility of such a coin existing always keeps attention high. Then we must mention struck-through errors, which occur when a foreign object, like a piece of thread, cloth, or even a grease blob, comes between the die and the planchet during striking, resulting in part of the design being missing or obscured. These errors can be wildly different in appearance depending on what caused them, and the weirder or more distinct the pattern, the more valuable they become. A 1997 penny with a dramatic struck-through error, especially on Lincoln's face or across the date, can demand up to $150 if visually appealing and in good shape. Now, speaking of condition, the overall grade and visual quality of a 1997 penny can make a huge difference even if it doesn't have a rare error. Coins that have never circulated, known as mint state examples, and especially those graded MS-66 or higher, are significantly harder to find than their worn-down counterparts, and because of that, a pristine, sharply struck, red luster 1997 penny can bring $20 to $40 or more even without a known error, and when combined with a dramatic error, those values shoot up exponentially. Some slabbed coins from this year showing strong double dies or bold off-center strikes have been auctioned for well over $100, sometimes hitting $143 or more, especially when sold in competitive auction environments where collectors bid aggressively for standout examples. Now you may wonder how to tell if your 1997 penny is worth big money and what signs to look for. The first step is always to examine the coin closely under good lighting and, ideally, with a 10x magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Check for signs of doubling in the lettering or date, study the edges for clips, examine the fields and devices for unusual raised lines or missing details that might indicate cracks or struck-through debris, weigh the coin to ensure it falls within the standard range of around 2.5 grams for zinc-based post, 1982 cents, and if your coin seems heavy, off-colored, or oversized, that may suggest a wrong planchet, which could be extremely valuable, and if you find something unusual, it's highly recommended to consult a trusted coin dealer or submit the coin for grading and authentication by PCGS or NGC to confirm its error and preserve its value. Remember that many of these errors can be subtle, and authentication plays a big role in realizing their full market worth. Another aspect adding to the value is collector demand and online exposure. Coins with rare errors that go viral on social media or are featured in numismatic forums often generate a premium simply because of visibility and buzz. A dramatic-looking coin that's shared widely online or covered by a coin influencer can attract multiple offers and drive up the price, even if similar examples exist, so timing, presentation, and documentation can all increase the final value received. For instance, a simple off-center coin might sell for $50 in one context but over $100 in another when accompanied by a detailed description, sharp photographs, and third-party grading, and with more people now turning to coin collecting as both a hobby and investment, demand for these rare mint errors continues to rise, especially in a market where everyday change still hides potential treasures. So the next time you come across a 1997 penny, don't be so quick to dismiss it as just another cent. Inspect it carefully, look for the signs we discussed, consider the possibility of errors both big and small, and realize that even modern coins can carry significant value due to mistakes that happened more than 2 decades ago in the high-speed minting process of the U.S. Treasury.